Dubbed as the language of romance, the language of passion, and the language of art, French certainly is amongst one of the most coveted European languages. Which is why, despite the undisputed global stronghold of the English language, French continues to sit peerless in a class of its own. Hi there, I'm Mohit Sehgal on behalf of Linguistica7.com, and today we're discussing 10 basic French words and expressions which will be great for French enthusiasts, and you English speakers can also add it to your English to, as the French would say, make it more exotique. So as we go by, I'm going to give you some pronunciation aids. These will be very simple phonetic spellings which will make it very easy and comfortable for you to speak the words accurately and remember them with ease. So without further ado, let's get on with our Voyage des Français. Cheers. All right, so let's get on with our first word, which is bonjour. Now, bonjour is perhaps the most renowned and versatile word in the French language. Rather, it's a greeting. The reason why I call it versatile is that it can serve you the purpose of a hello, a good morning, or even a good afternoon. So, in the day hours, the French generally use this as the greeting when they meet somebody. Bonjour, hello, good morning, and even good afternoon. Let's get into the pronunciation. For that, I'm going to divide the word into two. You've got bonjour. So let's look at each word individually now. Bon is the French word for good, and jour in French means day. So the literal translation of the word into English is good day, which is why I mentioned that this is the wish which holds good in French for all the day hours. Bonjour. Let's get deeper into the pronunciation. So when I'm explaining the pronunciation to you, I'm going to use two words, friends. The first one being enunciate. Enunciate means to pronounce something very clearly. Enunciate. Like what I did to this word, enunciate. I just pronounced it clearly. So that's enunciate. And the second word is accent. I know most of you must be familiar with the term accent, but over here I'm not using it in the sense as to say the way people speak from different nations, different countries. No, accent in phonetics, in the study of sound, means to lay stress on some particular sound. So we're going to use enunciate, which means to pronounce something clearly, and we're also going to use the word accent, which is another word for stress. Now, let's move on. So when I say the word bon, I am not going to enunciate the N as you would do in English. I'm not going to pronounce it as bon. Rather, the N will be very nasal. It's going to be like, that sort of a sound. So you got bon right there and not bon. So that's your bon. Coming to jo. Now this J, if I were to pronounce this J the same way I do in English, I would say something like jo. But in this case, it is actually jo. Let's get deeper into that sound, that J sound. Imagine the word, the English word, pleasure. Pleasure. I hope you're noticing that syllable in the center, the je, pleasure. The sound which the S and the U together receive in the English word pleasure is the same sound that travels to this J over here in bonjour, which is the je sound. Not the je, but the je. So once you substitute that SU sound over here, what you get is a je, and put together you get jo. Another thing which I must mention here is, friends, that the French generally do not pronounce the last letter in their words. So over here, the R as well is not going to be enunciated, and there's going to be no accent on your R. So this is just going to end up like jo. So if I'm to give you a simple phonetic spelling for this, so it's going to be like bon and bonjour. Don't enunciate the H. That's very gentle. That's just to make the pronunciation as accurate as possible. You've got bonjour, which is hello, good morning, and good afternoon. Once again, bonjour. Let's have a look at some sentences with English. Bonjour, what a lovely day. How are you? Bonjour, it's nice to see you. Hey, bonjour, where have you been? Bonjour. Okay, let's go to the second word. So after the morning and the afternoon, we naturally come to the evening. So in case you've guessed, yes, you're right. This is good evening. Let me split it into two and explain the meaning better. As you already know, friends, that bon is the equivalent of good, and soir in French means evening. Whenever there's an I in the middle of a French word, it generally tends to take the vowel sound of A. It goes like ah. So you've got soir, bonsoir. It means good evening. The wish that you can greet people with after the day hours are through, and after your bonjour, we come down right to bonsoir. Let's have a look at the pronunciation now. So you're very well acquainted with bon now. Let's have a look at soir. Soir, again, you needn't enunciate the R. Do not lay emphasis on that. So it's just going to be something like, you've got your bon with the nasal N, and then we move on to soir. Soir. You can even take it as bon, and then you've got your SWA, bonsoir. Bonsoir. Good evening. Let's check out some sentences with English. Bonsoir. What a lovely day it was. Ah, bonsoir. So nice to see you. Shall we go for dinner? Ah, bonsoir. Where have you been? It's been so long since I saw you. Bonsoir. All right, so coming to the final wish on any given day, which is in English good night, and that is exactly what bonne nuit means in French. So, as you might have guessed, bonne nuit is a parting wish. It is not to be confused with a greeting that when you meet somebody and you tell them that. So, just like in English, when you meet somebody in the evening hours, you wish them good evening, which is equivalent to bonsoir. So if you meet somebody in the evening, go ahead and say bonsoir. But if you're parting with them, you're going to use bonne nuit, which is equivalent to good night. Let's get into the pronunciation. But first, let's in fact delve a little more into the meaning. Now you already know that bon, B-O-N, means good. So whatever happened to our good over here? Why did it turn into bon? For that, I'll just delve into a little French basic when it comes to the construction of the French language. See, they like their language to flow without any pauses, which is why there's a little rule in French that whenever an adjective in French and a noun come together in French back to back, the adjective receives an extra E in the end if it is being followed by a noun which is feminine in gender. So night or nuit in French is feminine, which is why bon must turn to bonne. So they go on and say bonne nuit without any struggle, without any unnecessary pause. They go bonne nuit instead of bon nuit, wherein you kind of feel some struggle in the throat. You have to pause unnaturally. They generally don't prefer that with their language. So bon and bonne are essentially the same thing, but the adjective is changing because nuit is feminine. So bonne nuit is the equivalent of good night. Let's get into the meaning. You've got your bonne nuit once again here. So bonne will be pronounced as bon, but this time, folks, I want you to enunciate or lay the accent on the N. Do not make it nasal like you did in bonjour. Bon, the N must be pronounced. You got bon, and then you move on to nuit, which will be something like this. Bonne nuit. Bonne nuit. So whenever you say it in a very consolidated manner. Do not spread the words like bonne nuit, bonne nuit. It's a very jingly, melodious sort of a wish. Bonne nuit, right? So you wish somebody good night, you say bonne nuit. You got bonne, nuit, please do not prolong the pronunciation of the double E's. Don't go like Bonne Nuit. Just keep it short and sweet. Bonne Nuit. So there's your Bonne Nuit. Let's have a look at some sentences with English. What a lovely dinner it was. Thank you for coming. Bonne Nuit. Right. So I'll see you tomorrow. Take care till then. Bonne Nuit, or the lover's favorite over the phone or in the text. Good night, sweet dreams. Bonne Nuit. Bonne Nuit. Moving on to a more casual greeting now, we come to Salut. Now, Salut is your very handy hi. So, Salut is French for the English hi. So, just like the English do, the French also use it when they're meeting somebody who's from their peer group, somebody who's their own age or from the same age group, or some close acquaintance. So, wherever there's any informality involved, the French greet with the greeting Salut. Let's check out the pronunciation. Let's divide it into sal and two simple O's. There you go. Salut. Let me remind you that the French, like I said earlier, do not pronounce the last letter in their words most of the times. So you've got salut without any emphasis or any enunciation of the T. Salut. That's your hi. Sal and two O's make it salut. Please make sure that you do not prolong these O's, which will result in something like salut. That's not it. The O's are very short, very mild. So you go something like salut. That's your hi. Checking out some sentences in English. Salut. Good to see you. Salut. How you been? Salut. You're early. Salut. All right, folks, so since we're in the middle of this little presentation, I thought of discussing the matters of the heart, which is why we're on the expression or on the word je t'aime. Now, je t'aime in English means those three words that make the world go round. I love you. Je t'aime. Je t'aime is I, aim is your love, and te is you. Put together, you get je t'aime. Let's get into the pronunciation. J-U-H-T-A-M-E. Let's first look at the je sound. So again, do not enunciate the H. It is just for the reason of accuracy here. It's going to be like je. Je. The same je, if you might remember, I used in Bonjour. I used the English word pleasure. So the center sound in the word, the syllable at the center, the je feeling, must be attached to this J over here as well. You get je. Then we come to the English word tame. Now, tame in English would mean to discipline somebody or to make somebody docile. So in English, we use the harsh consonant T over here, tame, right? You're not going to do that in French. The French like to keep their language very mellow and very soft. So in case of English, the T receives a hard dental sound, which is something like T or tame, right? There's the teeth involved. In case of French, you're going to stick your tongue. I know we generally do not notice these things when we speak, but if you pay some attention, you might be able to get it exactly. In case of French, when we pronounce this T, we're going to stick our tongue between the upper and the lower teeth, and something like T, the soft consonant sound T, and you're going to get tame, not tame. So put together, you get je t'aime. Once again, slowly, je t'aime. You got je t'aime, which is I love you. So all you boys and girls out there, go ahead and wish that special person in your life je t'aime. Moving on to an expression which introduces formality and respect in a sentence, and that is s'il vous plaît. S'il vous plaît is the French equivalent of the English please. So as you might have guessed, wherever you need to show some respect, you're speaking to your elders, or wherever there's a hint of formality required, we use the expression in French, s'il vous plaît. Let's check out the pronunciation. It may seem a little difficult for beginners, but let's break it down. So SIL together would come down to something like C, or rather C. Your VOUS is going to be VU, coming to PLAIT, the English verb play, which is because of the same reason that the French do not pronounce the last letters in their words. So in PLAIT, there is no need to pronounce the T. You've got play. Let's put them together. Si, vous, play. Again, practice some caution over here. Do not extend the vowel sound E or the vowel sounds O over here. Keep it at si, vous, play. S'il vous plaît. S'il vous plaît, which means please. Now, before getting into the sentences, let me share an interesting factoid with you over here. You might have read the abbreviation RSVP on certain invitations, printed invitations such as wedding cards. In case you've been wondering what RSVP stands for, it is the equivalent of the French expression répondez s'il vous plaît, which means please reply. You have s'il vous plaît over here. The R is for RESPONDEZ, which is pronounced as répondez s'il vous plaît, please reply. And RSVP always follows the details of the people who are organizing the event, with whom you need to get in touch with. Please reply, RSVP. So that's your s'il vous plaît. Let's check out some little sentences here. You can have something like, listen, s'il vous plaît. Could you help me, s'il vous plaît? Let's go. S'il vous plaît, s'il vous plaît. A very simple little bit over here. You've got your positive and the negative, which is yes and no. So when the French want to say yes, they go ahead and say oui. OUI comes out as oui. And if they want to deny or refuse something, the negative is no. The way it's different from the English no is that no is more or less even, but in case of the French no, which is no, the O in there receives a more slanting syllable to explain, something like no. It goes towards the AW sound. Let's have a look at the pronunciations over here. So beginning with yes, which is we. So your OUI can be very simply understood as WE, we. Again, keep the E very short, very gentle, we. Not like the English us, which is like we, where you enunciate the E very properly. Not in this case though, we. That's your yes. Coming to no. In English, like I said, the O will have a very even pronunciation like no. In case of French, we go something like this. No. No. So you got your no somewhere here, but in French, no, which is your no, or no, as in French. Yes, oui, and no, no. Simple as that. Oui and no. Moving on to some gratitude now, we come to the word merci. Now, if you read it in English, you will probably pronounce something as merci, but that's not what it is. Merci. Let me give you another pronunciation basic in French over here. The French R is pronounced as a harsh KH, like k, a very throaty sound, k. So this word, if we follow that rule, should not remain at merci, rather merci, merci. Let's break that down. Did I mention the meaning? If I haven't, it is thank you. Merci in English means thank you. Now let's go ahead with the pronunciation. You've got me, KH, and then you have your C. Merci. Now, unfortunately, it's not all that simple as it appears. because it can very conveniently be mispronounced something as merci, but that's not the way to go. After you've spoken your meh, do not enunciate the H here again. Meh, the KH should not straight away be pronounced as k. There should be, at the end of meh, there should be sort of a year roll coming from the throat, like meh, meh, rising intonation, meh. And then you've got the k, the harsh sound there, meh, and SEA would come out to your C. So what do you get? Merci. Let's go slower. Let's make it clearer. Merci. Merci. Which is equivalent to thank you. Merci. Right? Once again, you've got mer, no enunciation of the H. Merci. 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 So whenever a French person wants to thank somebody, they go ahead and say merci. Right? You subscribed to our videos. Merci. Oh, you liked this video. Merci. Merci. After having discussed the word merci, we naturally come to its response, which is de rien. In English, when somebody thanks you for something, you generally go, you're welcome, which is exactly what this is. De rien in French is the English, you're welcome. Let's check out the pronunciation now. Your DE can be pronounced something as the word day. But the thing to observe here is that the D consonant is again going to be softened. It needn't be harsh like in English. When I have to say the sound D, generally I'll go like duh. What's happening in my mouth is that my tongue is forcefully hitting the floor of my mouth, and what I get is duh, duh. There you go. That's not the case. In French, however, you're going to have to soften it, and the way to do it is that you're going to again stick your tongue between the upper and the lower teeth and make it into the. So you've got they, not they, but they. Then, like I told you in case of merci, the R gets the harsh k sound. So they, KH, and IEN will come out something as IAN. De rien. Again, do not fall into the trap of simplicity and pronounce it as de rien. De rien. The KH again needs to be rolled up, like in the previous word merci. So de rien. Your ch goes elliptically somewhat in my mind. I know it's not geometry, but something, if I have to give a real shape to this abstract idea, it goes in a circular fashion. So you got de rien, which is equivalent to you're welcome. So if somebody thanks you and you want to reply in French, you'd say, oh, that's all right, de rien. Thank you for coming to our party. And you go like, oh, it was our pleasure, de rien. And that's you're welcome, de rien. On to our last word in this list of 10 expressions. So I come to the fitting expression that is Ohwah. As you might have guessed, Ohwah is the French word for goodbye. So whenever a French person wants to bid adieu to somebody, bid farewell to a friend or any relation, they go ahead and say Ohwah. Let's check out the pronunciation here. Your AU comes down to the simple vowel O, followed by GWAH. Now, as I've already mentioned, that the R in French is the harsh K, which is throaty, comes from the throat, K. In this case, however, that K feeling is going to be softened or mellowed down just a little in the form of a G. So you've got that rolling sensation. After the O, you get Ohwah. Ohwah. You've got a G sound, then a V sound, followed by a A. So you've got Ohwah, which is the equivalent of goodbye. Once again, that's Ohwah. Let's check it out in some sentences. It's been lovely meeting you. Take care. Ohwah. Well then, I guess I'll see you tomorrow. Ohwah. See you soon. Ohwah. And that's Ohwah. There you go, friends. That's the end of this little presentation. We hope you've enjoyed. We hope it's helped the French beginners or the French enthusiasts who've been meaning to take up French. If it has helped, go ahead, share it with your friends, like the video, subscribe to us. We'll be very thankful indeed. Till then, take lots of care. Thanks for watching. Merci. Ohwah.